Hey guys, it's Danny. Today I'm gonna show you the curious case of this little orchid that I just purchased about a couple of months ago, maybe less. This is the Phalaenopsis philippinensis crossed with Fuscata, and look at her, isn't she gorgeous? Well, the flower is nice, but take a look at the orchid. We can clearly see something has happened here. And some of you might remember the video in which I unboxed or I showed this orchid to you. Leaves were not looking great. They were pretty red. The orchid looked quite dehydrated. Something happened either on transport, either right before it reached me, but the orchid was not in good condition. And as you can tell, I did not do anything to this orchid. I didn't repot it. I actually didn't treat it quite at all. And this will be today's topic. When is it actually better to just let orchids be? Not intervene practically, because there are such instances. But maybe it's not what you think. Anyway, so if you end up enjoying this video, do give it a like. A share would be great. Let me know what situations you found yourself in which it was actually better to leave the orchid alone, and how did it go for you? And while you're at it, maybe consider subscribing. I do post 3 times a week. So with that said, before I get to repotting this orchid, let's actually talk about what happened to this orchid and why I chose not to do anything with it. Alright, first and foremost, I do want to clarify something. You might read in articles or you might hear people say orchids thrive on neglect. That is absolutely not what I'm trying to say with this video. Actually, I am very against that particular mentality. Neglecting a living thing, never a good idea. It doesn't even sound good if you think about it. Why would you neglect something that is alive and needs you, depends on you to survive? Neglecting an orchid can actually lead to its demise. If the orchid has some pests and you don't spot them in time, the pests can actually take over the plant and do as much damage as to actually completely destroy the orchid. Also, if you have some diseases that you need to take care of, maybe some fungal or bacterial infections, you definitely need to take action, because there's no Mother Nature in your living room trying to help out the orchid. It actually falls on you to provide the water, the nutrients, the wind, quote unquote, the fresh air, all of those things that orchids naturally have in their habitat and they don't encounter in your living room. So neglecting an orchid means not playing Mother Nature for it, just practically leaving it in a totally alien environment in which its defenses are sometimes almost useless. So I really wanted to make that abundantly clear, because I always sometimes get comments asking me what I feel about that, or saying, yeah, orchids just thrive on neglect. Why do you take so much care of them? Well, it's because orchids actually don't thrive on neglect. Now, I do understand that some people take it as don't overdo it with orchids, which is fine, absolutely. Do not overdo it with quote unquote your care. But it's much easier to say, hey, do the proper care, and here's how things work, and actually explaining to somebody how things work, than saying, oh, orchids thrive on neglect. Just neglect your orchid and everything will be fine. Did this orchid look fine to you? No, it was neglected, and whatever it affected it so badly that it made it lose a bottom leaf. This orchid only has 1 leaf. I can definitely see leaf burn on the sides. If you remember when I unboxed this orchid, the leaves were red. That is a lot of anthocyanin, and that is a response typically to very strong light. My guess at this point was that this orchid was left in very bright light, maybe direct sunshine or intense heat, and it wasn't checked as often as it should have been checked to see if the orchid gets burned or suffers in any way. So neglect leads to why this orchid looked bad in the first place. However, though, just because an orchid does not look proper doesn't really mean that we have to start using all sorts of substances, doing all sorts of rituals for it to get better. And this is where we're gonna start our video today. Now, just as bad as neglect is exaggerating what you think you should do with your orchids, exaggerating with watering, with fertilizing, with the amounts of products you're gonna use. Oh my goodness. with the amounts of products you're gonna use on your orchid, the first thing we always need to do with any orchid is try to identify what is wrong with it. Obviously, if you see an infection, that needs attention. It needs to be cut away, especially if it advances from one day to the next. If you see pests, those need to be addressed because pests do a lot of harm, they multiply, they can go on other orchids. Those are instances in which we definitely need to act and act fast. This, on the other hand, did not look like it had any infection or pest. Also, the fact that the leaves were just so red and the orchid herself was quite on the dehydration side led me to believe that what I'm dealing with is just either extreme light, extreme sun, or extreme heat, case in which there is no need for fungicides, no need for hydrogen peroxide, insecticides, or worse, soaking the orchid entirely in water to hydrate it or keeping it wet entirely to hydrate it faster. No. The orchid actually looked pretty okay. It actually had a decent root system, albeit dehydrated as well. But since there was nothing endangering the orchid imminently, there was also nothing that I needed to do other than make sure that I placed this orchid in the proper temperature, proper light situation, and I hydrated properly. Now, she's a little wet now because I purposely soaked her since today I am going to repot her, and I wanted the bits of medium to just remove themselves much faster from the roots, but typically I just ran some water through the pot and let it hydrate or actually absorb whatever water this medium held. Now, if I would have started to dose hydrogen peroxide, spray everything, dose the crown and all sorts of watery substances, I would have run the risk to actually provoke the stem rot. If that water wouldn't have evaporated in time and it would have accumulated bacteria, which would have affected the crown or stem, then everything would have been lost. And this orchid would have been lost just by me overdoing it with substances and with actions when it really wasn't the case. Well, today we are going to take some action because I do definitely need to repot this orchid. I don't like the medium, smells bad, and even if it's in bloom, usually Phalaenopsis can handle repotting if it's done in a gentle manner very well without losing buds or anything. So even though normally I wouldn't recommend repotting an orchid while in bloom, in this case it's okay. The medium is bad and I'm pretty confident that I can be gentle with the roots. So with that said, let's just start the repot and hopefully we won't get any centipedes in this pot, but who knows. I mean, oh boy, last time I freaked out. If you missed the video, I will link you to it down below in the description. Oh my gosh, this smells so bad. Oof. Yep, this orchid needs repotting. Luckily for us though, I don't think this orchid has any centipedes or millipedes in the substrate. Not in this. Maybe here, but this is going outside. Alright, so I rinsed the root system at the sink and I also sprayed hydrogen peroxide 3%. Because that medium smelled a little bit mushroomy. I also saw a few lighter color spots, which I don't know if they were mold or worse, mealybugs. So spraying some hydrogen peroxide is a good idea, even though with Phalaenopsis I typically don't. This was a special case though. So now I'm going to cut away everything that is dried. I have a dried flower spike here. I also have some dead roots that don't need to be attached to the orchid anymore. I don't have too many, so that's good. Phalaenopsis will often have segments that are alive and segments that are dead. Can you see that this root has a segment that is dead here and one that is dead here and in the middle it's still green? This is not a good root anymore. If you would have a root which has a good segment right at the base connected to the stem and then a dried bit, that root is good. Just cut the dried bit and leave the part that is attached to the stem, leave it alone. I'm left with quite a good root system at this point, so let's find an appropriate pot. Okay, so I have here a 4-inch, I do believe, about a 10 centimeter wide pot. This is a slotted pot from Repot.me, and as a medium, I'm going to be using the usual sphagnum moss and bark. I'm gonna start with sphagnum moss at the bottom, and yes, my moss has dried out. This is the type that comes in a solid brick. Once you hydrate it, it becomes loose. Afterwards, I store it in a bin that is not sealed or anything. I let it dry out, and sometimes it becomes bone dry. It's still flexible. I can still work with it. With some orchids, I prefer it a little damp, But once it's not condensed in that brick, it's absolutely fine, even if it's dry. So at the bottom, sphagnum moss. Let's arrange the orchid inside. How about a perfect fit, right? Then I am continuing with bark chips and pretty much sandwich the roots in between all of these layers, which will give me a pretty even moisture level all throughout the pot. You can always use a Bambi skewer to make the bark fall downwards. There we go. I love dry bark. I never use wet bark when I repot because it's just uncomfortable. You cannot arrange it how you like. The orchid will be watered after repotting. Okay, so all that's left to do is to run some water through the pot, place this in its decorative container and back on the shelf, and the orchid should be absolutely fine from now on. And there we are, my orchid is all done, and there's nothing left to do from here on other than offer the proper care that Phalaenopsis need, which if you're a beginner and you're not sure about it, I will be sure to link it down below, my care tutorial for beginners, or actually the multiple parts of it. I have an entire 12 episode series on it, so if you're an early beginner, that will be very useful. But other than that, there's nothing more to hassle with. I can just enjoy the blooms. So bottom line, there are moments where it is beneficial to intervene. There is no one else helping this orchid. Mother Nature is somewhere out there. It's not in your living room, so you have to be the parent of your orchid. And there are instances in which you intervening can cause more harm than good, possibly. So it's best to just observe and keep things under control. So the key word here is observe. Don't neglect, never neglect your orchids. Give them a look as often as you can, observe them and understand them. And this, my friends, is the key to success. If you want the key to success, this is it, observe. I don't have anything else for you, sadly. So alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me, and hopefully this will be useful for you in the future if you ever have to deal with an orchid that looks similar to this. And I hope you have a great day. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos, tutorials, experiments, updates, and other fun orchid subjects. If you wish to support the channel, do consider becoming a member or visit the merch store linked down below in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's always nice to stay in touch there as well. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!